Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Desiree and today I'm going to show you how to line your drawstring backpack. So this is the bag that I am going to show you how to line. I line the inside with fabric, and so it's really easy, simple, straight to the point. I will be using my sewing machine, but I will also I will be telling you how to sew it by hand. But I will be using my sewing machine for this, okay? So let's jump right into the video and get started on how to line your backpack. The materials that we are going to need would be our project, our fabric. I'll be using this fabric. Would be scissors or a rotary cutter. Either one, it really doesn't matter. Chalk, just to line it, it's optional. Needle and thread or a sewing machine. Pins. And you'll need an iron and an ironing board and also a cutting board. So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to lay your fabric and cut it. So let's get into it. Okay, so you're going to put your fabric down just like this. I'm putting it with the closed side, this side, down like this. And you want it double because it's two sides you're going to need. So I put mine down just like this, stretch it out. Then I take my bag and I put my bag on top of it all the way to the bottom part right here. I put it down like this, leaving some space on the side. So, because we're going to sew the sides up. So, I'm leaving some space like this. Move my strings out the way. Put the bag down just like this. And I am going to trace around here with my chalk, leaving a little bit of space as well at top and bottom. But I'm going to measure this because I don't want my fabric, I don't need this much fabric all the way up here because my sewing part is going to start down here. So I really need this much down here because I'm not lining all up here where the strings are at. I'm going to start right below it. So really, I'm not sure if you can see, but right below it down here. So I'm going to line from back here. So I'm going to flip this back just like this. And I am going to measure, give it just a little bit. So I'm just going to go. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing, but it's okay if you're going to be off a little bit. It's not going to be that much of a difference. So that's the spacing I want for the top. And then on the side, I'm just going to come around and do the same thing, leaving a little, like an inch or something on the side. Just like that. And that's all I did. Not sure if you could see. Let me try to bring it in a little bit. So that's where my line, so that's where I'm going to cut. So like I said, you can use your scissors, your fabric scissors, or you can use the roller, the cutter. I'm just going to use my scissors. So I am going to so this is my piece right here that I want to sew. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it around inside, turn it the other way around, because I am going to sew down here and down here like that, but I'm gonna iron this piece out so it can lay flat. That's why I say you need your iron. So I want to add a pocket inside the bag. So to add a pocket, I'm just gonna do some measurements. I'm going to get my phone. I want it to be as wide as my phone, then leaving some inch on the side. And I am going to do the same thing here. I'm going to leave a little bit more space because last time I left a pocket, it wasn't wide enough to fit it if you wanted it to go down that way, because when you take it on the side. And then I want the height to be about that much. So I'm just gonna, you don't have to make your pocket this wide. This is just me being a little extra. So you really don't need any pockets. So that's where I want my pocket to be, because it's gonna fit in there. Okay, so this is my pocket. My pocket gonna be in there like that. So this is what I did for my pocket. My pocket is gonna stay like this. I'm not gonna flip the pocket over. So, okay, so after you cut your fabric to your desired length, you're going to iron. You're gonna iron this side out, okay? Let me get a little closer so you can see. You're gonna iron this part just like this, just so the bottom could stay flat. After you press it out with your pocket, we're going to sew our pocket first. So you want to open it out, and then you want to fold it just like, you want to fold it like this. And then you want to iron it so it can stay down. So after you're done ironing your fabrics, you're going to open out your bag part of it, and then you're going to get your pocket. That's if you're doing pockets. You don't have to, but I'm doing pockets, so I'll show you how to do the pocket. You're going to put it on top of your fabric anywhere that you want. Just make sure they seem even on the sides. And I am going to put it right here, just like this. And then you get your pins, and then you are going to pin. You want to make sure that the side that is not open is facing at the top, okay? And then the open side, like this side, will be at the bottom, just like this. This is where your main pocket is going to be. I'm just fixing it up where I want it to be. Not too low and not too high. So now I am going to pin all around here, okay? So go ahead and pin just like this. Sorry, my arm might be blocking. Just like that. So I'm going to pin all around till I get up here. So now your fabric should look like this. And there's two ways you can sew this. You can sew this by hand with a needle and thread, or you can sew it with your sewing machine. I'm going to sew it with my sewing machine, but to sew it by hand, after you thread your needle, okay, I can't get that. After you thread your needle, you're just going to take your needle and you're just going to sew on the sides, going all around here. But I'm going to use my sewing machine and I'm going to sew around here, and then I will be back to show you how it looks. So after you're done sewing your pocket, it should look something like this, where I know it's kind of hard to see because of the design on the fabric, but it should look something like this, where you can put your phone in. That's what I wanted, where the phone could fit in right away, and that it can also fit in on the side like that. So that's why I made it this wide and this tall. So after you're done with all of that, now we're going to sew the sides down of our bag so it can hold, and then we'll put it inside of the bag. So now I am going to sew the sides down and I will be back. And just like with your needle and thread, you just thread your needle and you just sew along the sides. Whether you want the front or the side, you can just sew along here, and that's it. It's just the same. The only difference is, for me, the sewing machine is quicker, and that's why I'm going to use my sewing machine. But before I had my sewing machine, I was sewing it down with my hand, and I was just going down there. And I'm going to leave just a little opening, so when I do flip my bag, it won't be so stiff where I can't fold this side down. But you know what? You can go ahead and fold it down. Go ahead and fold it down like this, and then you can sew from there. Okay? So I'm going to sew my sides and I'll be back to show you what to do next. Okay, so before I sew my sides down, I am going to just cut a little bit on my side to make it like an edge like this. Nothing too much, just slightly, because the sides are curved of the bag, so I wanted to cut the sides. I used to leave it straight, but I didn't like it straight. So this, before I sew the sides down, I'm going to lay the bag on top of the fabric just to see where I want to sew down, which I know where, but those who are doing it by hand, you can measure how far you want your bag to, how far you want to sew on your sides. So this is how I measured mine, like this. So I know I'm going to sew this much going down on this side of my bag, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. How far I want to go into the bag, about this much. Put it this way. So that's how much I'm going to sew in my bag. So you can go ahead and pin the sides and then sew it down. So this is how it should look after you pin it on the sides. And then this is what I'm going to sew down. Okay, so I'll be back and show you how that looks. Okay, so after you sew your sides, this is how it should look. You should be able to open it like this. Okay, just like this. So now we're going to sew it on our bag. So my pocket side is going to be facing the back part of it. I'm going to put it in just like this. Making sure that the sides with the pocket is facing in the back. So it'll look just like this. Oh, isn't that cute? It looks so pretty already. Okay, so I'm just making sure my bag is all the way down. And then I'm going to spread it out like this. Then I am going to fold it where I want it to be. Like I said, I want it to be right here, right underneath here, just like this. So let me make sure my corners are in the corner area. And then I am going to get my pin and I am going to pin it just like this. Just like that. And so I'm going to pin all around the same way. Just like that. So you see? And I put it right under my whole strap, not on the same side of it, but right underneath it. And I am just pinning all around. So go ahead and pin all around and I'll be back to show you how mine's look, okay? So all my pins are in place where I want them to be. And this is how it looks going all around, as you can see. So now I am going to sew around the edge with my sewing machine. So by hand, all you have to do is get your needle and thread and then just go in your yarn area, your stitches, sorry. So you'll just go on your stitches and into the fabric and you will just sew it just like that. And you will just keep sewing, going all around. I'm gonna be honest, sewing it, the bag this way by hand is easier. It's not quicker, but it's easier. But with the sewing machine, it's a little difficult to sew it on the machine like that. So this is my sewing machine, so I'm going to show you what I mean by a little bit more difficult than sewing it by hand. But it's quicker, so I'm going to use my sewing machine. And I am going, so when you do it with the sewing machine, you want to make sure that you're not sewing your straps also. So you have to position it in a way. So I'm going to position it under this area right here. So hold it down just like this. And I want to start in my corner. So you have to make sure you move your straps out the way when you are sewing it down. So I'm going to go, this is why I said with the sewing machine, it's a little bit more work that you have to do. The only difference is it's 10 times faster than sewing it by hand, but it's not the easiest for me. For others, it might be a little bit easier, but for me as a beginner, it was a little bit difficult. So when you get it to where you want to be, just make sure you keep your straps out the way. So you're going to keep watching and holding your straps, making sure that they're not going to get caught up. So the stitch that I'm using is the zigzag stitch for this project. I find it works a whole lot better because I've tried many and this works. So I am just going to sew this down to get started. Back stitch a little bit to hold it in place, and then I'm going to take off. So I am going to go ahead and continue sewing this, and then I will show you how it looks. Okay, so I am done sewing my bag. Like I said, it's quicker doing it on the sewing machine, but by hand it'll be easier because you can handle and fix up the fabric and the bag the way you want to, but that takes a little time. And this is how the outside look. You do see the stitches a little bit, but that's okay because it's sewn. This is how the inside look. Like I said, I did the zigzag stitch on my machine, and this is how it look. And you can pull it out. This is how the inside would be. The pocket is right here, just like that. And you have a lined bag. This is my first time lining my bag like this using a sewing machine. Well, this is my second time. My first time I did it, the back was all bunched up like this because when I was sewing it, I wasn't smoothing it out. So you have to smooth it out along the way so it doesn't bunch up like this in the back or the front, wherever you did. But I started in the back, so when I was coming around the back, that's what was happening. Okay, this is the other bag that I did, and this is what I meant when I talk about bunching up. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like this, and the inside, it's like halfway done. It didn't sew it all together. So that's what I mean when you have to smooth out your project, your bag, so that way it won't gather up like this. So it has a little hump like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try my best and just sew it down by hand so it's not too lumpy in the back. I could take this loose and then re-sew it, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to sew it by hand so it doesn't have the lump. This is it, and that's all. Your bag is done. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see here. And yeah, that's all. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.